Merry Christmas everyone. I hope that tomorrow Santa brings you all that you desire and you eat, drink and be generally merry. But it is Christmas Eve and it's a Tuesday, which means we've got a video to make. And today we take on probably the biggest conspiracy theorist of all. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, I want to give a big thank you and a shout out to the sponsors of this video, Mudwater. Now, I'm an avid coffee drinker. It runs through my veins. But recently, I've been swapping out my mid-afternoon cup of coffee for a cup of Mudwater, so I can still get the all-day energy I need, but without the early evening crash and brain fog. Now, Mudwater is a healthy habits brand best known for its popular coffee alternative. And Mudwater's original blend has 4 functional mushrooms. And with only a fraction of the caffeine of a normal cup of coffee, you get natural energy without the jitters or crash of coffee. Now, each ingredient was added for a purpose. Cacao and chai for that hint of caffeine and hot chocolate-like flavour. Lion's mane for focus and combating brain fog. Cordyceps to promote natural energy. And both chaga and reishi to support a healthy immune system. Plus it's Whole30 approved, 100% USDA certified organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan and kosher. Now I make mine with a touch of semi-skimmed and it tastes really good actually. It genuinely makes me feel more energetic as I get into the later part of the day. Now Mudwater is hooking up my channel with a special offer. If you go to mudwater.com/SimonDan, you get a free frother and 15% off. That's MUDWTR/SimonDan for that free frother and 15% off. Now that offer is exclusive only on mudwater.com/SimonDan. Right, on with today's video, which is from the famous Hans Wormhat. Well, he's famous on this channel anyway. He is trying to explain to us that science is actually zealotry. Interesting. Let's hear what he has to say on it, shall we?
Hans Wormhat. This is a video on the zealotry of science, and I could talk about this for so long that I want to try to keep it really short. I used to believe in science.
There is no belief required for science. Science deals with facts. It either is or it isn't. Okay, sometimes it's a might be, but there's always supporting evidence for those times.
And, okay, it's bad to say that because I still believe in being able to have theories and test them and prove things right and the scientific method, but modern science has nothing to do with that, and people really follow it just like a religion, and I used to follow it just like a religion. Believe things against better judgment that don't have proof for it, and believe fairy tales that people tell you.
Okay, but you must understand that these people are vastly more qualified than you, me, and most other people. They've often studied their entire adult lives in one particular area of expertise. To say you don't believe their life's work is frankly disrespectful and naive.
Like, I remember when they tried to teach me the fairy tale of gravity, I remember knowing that that was not true, that that wasn't the right answer. I knew that the apple fell because it's more dense than air and it's no longer supported by the tree. That's buoyancy.
Well, it's not, Hans. There is still an intrinsic direction that apple falls, and that direction is towards the center of our planet. That intrinsic direction is caused by gravity.
And you don't need the mass of the Earth to bend space-time.
That's exactly what you need to bend space-time, just like anything with mass does to a point.
And here's where they get kind of arrogant about it too. I have no problem admitting that God made this place the way that it works, and that's why there's only one down direction, and that's why things fall only in one direction, and that direction is down, and I'm okay with saying that.
And that is fine, but you can't then go and tell others that your opinion is correct, especially when it isn't.
Now, what scientism will do is they'll make up some sci-fi explanation for that, but at the end of the day, they still don't really have a why. Okay, so let's just go along with the spaceball thing for a second, just for fun. The value of G is 9.8. Well, why? Why is it 9.8 and not 4.9 or not 20? Why is the value of G what it is? They won't have an answer for that.
Well, we do. We have an equation that figures it out. All you need is the mass of an object, which we have, the Earth, and the distance to its centre, which we know as well. Plug all of that in, and then with the universal gravitational constant, we get an answer of 9.8. You use a different planet with a different size and mass, you get a different answer. Simple as that, really.
So just because they have one fairy tale answer thrown in, oh, you don't know why objects fall only down. I'm fine with saying because God made this place in a way that makes sense. There's an up and there's a down.
But there's also no why there either. Why make it up and down? What are the physical processes that cause that in your theory?
That's a perfect answer for me. I'm okay with that. And that's another thing too. They think that they can set their own goalposts for everybody else. I'm allowed to choose what's a convincing argument for myself. I find it very convincing.
Of course you are, but you're objectively wrong though. That's the thing. Believe what you want. It does not make you objectively correct.
And I'm just going to end this video with blatant lies. Scientism will blatantly give lies, but they're allowed to give lies and make it change stories and still pretend like everything they do is perfect.
I think what you're describing there is the scientific method in action. They are not lies, they are facts at that time of publication. Then we discover more and alter those facts based off new information and evidence. That is science.
How often do you see viruses depicted like this? This is what viruses were. When I learned what a virus was, this is what they were. Nowadays, with HIV virus and stuff, they show us these CGI blobs. Okay, which is it? Why didn't HIV look like one of these little bugs? Why does HIV look like a blob and not these crystal creatures?
That's just one example of a virus, a bacteriophage. It's a virus that destroys bacteria. There are several other types of virus too, all looking very different.
Ghost light of long dead stars. I remember in elementary school, they taught us that the stars were all dead. They told us that the starlight that we see from all the stars are long gone. That's what they taught us, and that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And for the first time in probably ever, I agree with you, Hans. You should not have been taught that in elementary school. Unless, of course, you're misremembering.
They don't talk about that anymore. But Hubble Deep Field, of course, will say stuff. But this isn't science. Going back to what science really is, you can't corroborate Hubble Space Telescope images, Hubble BS.
Well, the James Webb Telescope's done a pretty good job, don't you think? Or are you saying that we can't personally corroborate it? Plenty of amateur astronomers have captured objects that are incredibly far away, Hans.
And it's just mocked up images. And it's not science. And I guess I'll just say here, a lot of scientism is the religion of the lost. The ones who... yeah, they're just lost.
Just lost? Lost where? In the supermarket? Oh, I assume you mean lost in life. Well, I can assure you I know exactly where I am, exactly where I've been, and exactly where I'm going. You know how I know that? Science.
And most of the people who push scientism, they aren't even really into it. That's not their religion. They're just straight up Satanist.
Well, there we go, everyone. You've heard it here first. Hans says that we, the people that follow and trust science, are Satanists. The funny thing is that the difference between someone like you, Hans, and a Satanist is, well, not very much, actually. And on that bombshell, we'll say we're all done and dusted for another Tinfoil Tuesday. Safe in the knowledge that Hans does not have a Scooby-Doo what he's talking about. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Hans' monologue there. Thanks so much for watching today. It truly is appreciated. As always, if you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the thumbs up button too. And if the feeling takes you, a share would be appreciated as well. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a fantastic Christmas, and I'll see you on the other side for a Flat Earth Friday where a famous boxer is claiming he thinks the Earth is flat. Oh, and he's English too. See you then.